Have you ever met someone, and before they said a single word, you already knew you liked them? Nothing had happened yet. No conversation, no story, nothing to actually go on. And still, somehow, you knew. That feeling has a name and 100 years of research behind it. And once you understand where it actually comes from, you may never trust your own first impression the same way again.
Not every stranger's face makes you pause. But when one does, you've already decided, before you even realize you're deciding.
To understand why, you have to go somewhere much smaller than a study, into your own skull. Behind your eyes sits something small, almond-shaped, called the amygdala. For animals and for early humans, its job was simple: watch for danger without even having to think about it. As humans evolved, that same structure took on a second job. It started reading faces. In 2006, a Princeton psychologist named Alexander Todorov put a number on exactly how fast. He showed people faces for just 1/10 of a second, barely enough time to register a face was even there, and asked them to judge it. The verdicts came instantly and confidently. A separate team went further still. In 2014, they flashed faces for only 33 milliseconds, then masked them immediately, so fast the viewer never consciously saw a face at all. The amygdala responded anyway. It was voting on a stranger's trustworthiness before the rest of the brain had even confirmed a face was there to look at. Give that same brain a full minute with the face instead of a flicker, and the verdict barely moves. What grows isn't accuracy, it's confidence. Picture a hiring manager sitting through interviews all morning. By early afternoon, 2 candidates are left standing. Honestly, on paper, there's barely anything between them. Similar experience, similar answers, both clearly capable of doing the job well. And then the second one walks in. Something happens that has nothing to do with the resume in front of him. One glance at that face, and some quiet, wordless part of him has already leaned a little closer toward this one. He doesn't even notice it happening. Nothing remarkable is said in that interview. No answer stands out more than the other candidates did. But the decision, somewhere underneath all of it, has already quietly been made.
You don't compare 100 small things about someone. You notice one and let it speak for all the rest.
A quiet research project was underway at Columbia University, led by a man named Edward Thorndike. Edward Thorndike was a professor there, an expert in educational psychology. He was a careful, methodical man, the kind who trusted a number over a gut feeling. During the war, many psychologists had been asked to help the military to sort and classify young recruits. Some of that work eventually reached Thorndike's own desk. What that paperwork contained would end up surprising even him, a man who trusted numbers over feelings. The paperwork concerned 137 aviation cadets, each one evaluated by the commanding officer who had personally watched them train. The rating form asked these officers to judge each cadet across 4 separate categories: physical bearing, intelligence, leadership, and character, each one meant to stand entirely on its own. In theory, a cadet could be sharp but a weak leader, or strong in bearing but only average in character. 4 honest, independent verdicts. But Thorndike wasn't interested in any single cadet's score. He wanted to know whether those 4 categories genuinely behaved like 4 separate judgments, or secretly behaved like one. So he sat down and he ran the numbers. They weren't independent, not even close. A cadet who scored high in one category tended to score high in all 4. The numbers moved together, tightly, as closely as 0.64, in categories that should have shared almost nothing in common. One glance at a man's bearing, it seemed, was quietly filling in the rest of the entire form. Thorndike gave the pattern a name, one still used exactly as he chose it over a century later. The halo effect. In plain terms, it means this: impress someone in one single way, and their mind will quietly assume you're impressive in every other way too, whether you actually are or not. So the effect is real. But here's a fair question. What if someone just changed how they act for a moment? Would that actually be enough to fool anyone? In 1977, a professor at the University of Michigan named Richard Nisbett, working with his student Timothy Wilson, decided to test exactly that. To do it, they staged an interview with one college instructor and filmed it twice. In the first recording, he's warm. He leans in and smiles easily. In the second, filmed the very same day, he's cold and distant, barely looking up from his notes. It was enough. Students who only saw the warm version rated his face as better looking, his accent as more charming, though neither one had actually changed. A few minutes of behavior was enough to change what people saw when they looked at a completely unchanged face. So here's the next question, and it's the one that actually matters. What if you knew, in advance, that your judgment was about to be swayed this way? Would knowing that be enough to stop it from happening to you? 4 years later, Wilson tested that too, alongside 2 other researchers, Christopher Wetzel and James Court. They told people exactly how the bias worked in advance and asked them to catch it happening in themselves on purpose. It made no difference at all. Every group, warned or not, still fell for the exact same thing. And afterward, most of them insisted they hadn't. So put those 2 things together. Here's what you're actually left with. A few minutes of acting warm is enough to change what people see in a face that never moved. And knowing that trick exists doesn't protect you from it, not even a little. Which leaves one real question. If neither caution nor awareness can stop this, what actually can? So the fix was never going to be think harder. It was never going to live in anyone's head at all. It lives in the room, in whether an interview lets the resume speak before the face does, in whether a teacher's first impression of a student, on day 1, quietly decides how that student gets treated all year. The reflex itself was never the problem, and it isn't going anywhere. It's the same reflex that makes a good waiter feel like a good waiter. A safe teacher feels safe. A stranger, for no provable reason at all, feel like someone worth trusting. You can't think your way out of liking someone instantly. You shouldn't want to. The only real fix was never in anyone's head. It's in never letting that feeling alone decide who gets the job, the grade, or the second glance you never gave someone else.